Daily trading recap here for this Monday, the 7th of February, 2022. Nice little day in the green and start of what I'm very excited for, getting my feet wet with this futures market trading on the ES and the MES. Just was taking one micro contract today on the MES. Just kind of getting my feet wet with that and testing the waters, but very excited about the data I'm collecting and the steps forward in the days and weeks coming ahead to continue that progression and experience with that. So excited for that little step there. SPY overall today, 0.3% in the red. And again, I just love, or not again, but mentioning, I think I found my little niche trading this way of going more towards a spread approach or trading that volatility, not trying to be so directional or having to be correct in picking the direction straight out of the gate for the morning of getting upset or frustrated that it just dips out of the open when I'm thinking it should be long, but in all reality, it does end up producing a nice little percentage move, equating that in futures terms, in ES terms of where it comes from the open or where it comes from VWAP area, using those parameters to understand that it still can reach these areas throughout the day, but it doesn't have to happen in a specific time frame. And me trying to limit myself to one immediate time frame, that in the same notion that trying to be a scalper with small cappers or OTCs, that it, you ideally want to have that move happen right away from your entry. It's an entirely different game on SPY, and I'm enjoying every second of it. I think it's going to be a long journey and learning, expanding myself a lot more, but certainly a journey I'm excited for going forward. Some other housekeeping stuff just before we mention a few tickers on the day. NASDAQ, $244 billion volume, pretty low compared to the past few days we've been seeing, and even SPY itself showing a very sub 100 million share volume today, which has not had that since the 14th of January. How many days trading day that is, but interesting to see. So, really again, another red day after that dip off of the hard pullback. So not to say that this was a full panicking day or another sentiment, even though it was pretty red coming into the close, that it's going to continue that trend in my mind, because it was not so voluminous in order to say that, or even coming in today, how it should be panicking down, testing this 446 level more, 444 level more, if that truly was the sentiment. So maybe we get some more consolidation or drawn out before it eventually does end up having that sentiment of pulling back more, or it just starts to slowly trend higher once again, as it always wants to do, and just continue to push more to the upside. Nice dollar volume on the day, 300 billion, OTCs, $2.3 billion volume, so pretty low considering where we've been coming from the past few weeks of trading, but in still kind of the same light of what I've been seeing for small cap scanners, even OTC scanners. Not that I've been trading any OTC movers, but just not anything popping up on that morning dump scanner that I love to try and hit for that pre-market shorting strategy that I found a little playbook niche for me in that. Just still keeping myself in the guidelines and saying, hey, it's not very promising, or they haven't been showing themselves, but stick to it, and when it comes, you will know it and be aware of it, and then go guns blazing when it does. Or just be cautious in everything that you do, but understand adaptation to the market is life, and it's not going to happen every single day. You just don't come to this screen every single morning and print yourself new money. That's just not how it works. So learning more lessons like that every single day. Let's start off with DWAC. Traded one share again on this bad boy, and sure enough, at the end of the day, this thing got de-whacked. It had the breakout above $90 today, failed to ever hit that $100 mark, which, of course, that's what we were looking for, but get the breakout after this very, very nice consolidation. Even looking on an intraday perspective coming into today, it was just almost too good to be true for how it was holding, continuing putting higher lows before the end of the week there. And even fun today, the other sympathy to DWAC in pre was looking like it was already breaking out. So it had this little bit of sympathy, if you want to call it that. Not so much on the daily compared to DWAC, but just of intraday or in pre-market on that fun. That's okay. Price action on this one is good. Is this one separating itself from the sympathy of what DWAC is doing, or is it just actually aligning itself and projecting a potential, it becoming the leader over DWAC for some odd reason, like a GME, AMC type of situation there? But other than that, DWAC traded one share, got long pre, so I could just keep my focus. Was not going to try to mess around with this during market hours, but knew I potentially wanted to be long this one, and of course not throw a huge position size on it, knowing that I wasn't going to have my full attention on there, but knowing that, hey, I think the probability is certainly there that this one has a nice move upwards today, and did start to skip some prices, but I got the nice level 2 tape replay today. It just never really got that elevation, hard mismatch of spread and just like skip prices and get us into a halt. that, of course, we want to see for huge, crazy short squeezes, or what, like the move that I would have been looking for in order to sell into. And of course, my one share position size limits me on being able to take profits and scale out into this initial move here, or hold little lottery shares and sell into this double top, triple top area here. But golly, that was a fun experience to see, just as knowledge bank growing there of, man, once it just fails to ever reach that, a bullish sign that fails to turn bullish, obviously will eventually have to turn bearish, and this thing turned hard very quickly. It would be interesting to see if something on Twitter turned, or some insider information, because that's a lot of shares coming into this thing, not compared to, obviously compared to where it's been in this last little round, but still nothing compared to that initial craziness on that first move. But certainly smacking price and leaving no room for any real dip, just pushing it hard into the close. Cool to see. Grade for me on this little trade, I give it an A for grade of the opportunity that was presented from where my entry was. Of course, like I mentioned, of being able to scale out if I had more than just one share, of not exiting myself out of position that way. And for execution that I did hold on this one, I certainly gave it a lot of room after that pullback. Of initially my target was $90, that price level of, as it was holding here, that, okay, as we based under VWAP, giving it lots of room to breathe there for that price point. And sure enough, I kept in mind that, man, I think there is a probability as we're getting into this afternoon session that it's going to dump under VWAP and just start faking out left and right, pull back under 90, maybe even test this $87 level, but then like come back to 93 area, do those little trickster games, just create some wide volatility ranges to trade through there. But sure enough, it held pretty decently, clung to VWAP through the afternoon session, and started perking higher into closer to the end power hour session of the market today, but just definitely did not have it in the bag for squeeziness. It was a reverse squeezy. It was a squeeze on the longs to the downside there on DWAC. But good to be a part of, good lessons. And one share trade experience. It was not about the P&L whatsoever on this trade, but certainly just trading it from a position of power and learning everything I could from the tape replay and the level 2 that was presenting itself during the trade. That was DWAC. KAVL was another third day play that I certainly missed out on. I did not have this one coming into today, but I was able to, I don't know why I missed it, but seeing it on Bowen's pre-market pep, I pulled it up again and said, oh yeah, absolutely. Low floater, American nicotine vape company. The initial news catalyst for the first screen day was they've got like some judicial stay, whatever that means. They won some, I'm assuming it's like some marketing deal that, because it's a nicotine vape company, that they had to put something on their label, or they're advertising like this product causes cancer, blah, 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 or like something along those lines. That's what I'm assuming from that news article, that they won that and produced a very nice little first screen day there into the close. Second day, little rest day, a little bit of sell off, but holding decently. Third day, or that second day after I was really doing nothing, pre-market today, putting in a little bit of strength, testing some levels here. And my trade was more so based off of just as I was pulling it up again of, okay, it's holding pretty decently. I think we could get some nice action here. I thought I was seeing some bidders come in to step this thing up. Got 117 there on 50 shares again, keeping my size super small for what I feel my focus has been on these third day plays, or what I've, my lack of watching this thing entirely like a hawk in order to take full size in there just was not in the bag. So still being a part of it, 50 shares, trading it there. Again, not about the P&L, just about the experience on these types of trades. 117, and I was starting to test view up there again, looking pretty weak, and then we start to smack through some bids, so able to get 115 on the exit. Starts to pull off more, but just finds a base. And this one was weird for me in that I wrote in my journal of the initiation of this move for me was this point here. That would have been 10:06 Eastern time. We just get this weird volume perk that it's not necessarily that it was clinging well to VWAP, it's just dumping under VWAP. And maybe you can call it a rejection, that it's this little failed McDonald's arch here as it creates this M, and looks like it's going to, okay, we failed a VWAP test again. Now we're going to pull back under, start to test 1-1 here, break to new lows. The reversal of that, or just the smack above of that thought process, became the initiation for this move. Of like, that was the area to be getting longer to hold this thing, which is a hard call for me in my book. But of course, you could call another area of entry as it's consolidating or holding here, looking for another breakout area to new high of day off of this move as it's growing with volume, and to get a huge push of the squeeze of the shorts at this 10:23 Eastern mark up to 1-3. at that point, and then lots of consolidation, VWAPs moves there, and eventually even a more move to 182 by the end of the day to close there. Very nice third day play on this low float squeezer. For my trade, the idea that I was having for a third day play, A+. I got to say, looking at the hindsight at this chart at the end of the day, I mean, A+. That was the type of chart that we wanted to build upon. But for how I executed what I was looking at, I can give myself a B of just, I was not really prepared for, okay, wow, that for what I would consider this initiation point of entry. And of course, I was not watching this hard after I was already out and looking at other things. Missed all this opportunity here. But even getting in either of these points, great entry points as well. But other than that, I still consider this a good experience to be a part of. And looking back on it, like, oh, wow, the idea is still right. If I have nothing else going for me on the day, knowing that I was correct in the thesis of the trade and being in the correct chart on the day is like the first step in everything. So getting that correct is, of course, a big step, and thankful for that. That was really all I had. Nothing hitting me hard on the scanners going into tomorrow. Nothing tickling my fancy, just continuing to grind away at this little data collection, little algorithmic style of trading that I'm excited to do on the futures aspect for the ES and the MES. Excited to keep after it. I can sincerely thank you guys for watching. We will catch you guys on the next one.